The story begins with a man named Lenny driving through the desert. Needing to relieve himself, he pulls over for a break. Suddenly, the headlights of his pickup truck start flickering frantically, and a strange buzzing noise comes from the radio. Just then, a glowing sphere streaks across the sky and crashes nearby. Curious, Lenny walks over and finds a circular object with a slightly transparent surface. As he gets closer to take a picture, an enormous creature, standing over 2 meters tall, rises in front of him. Terrified, Lenny runs back to his truck and floors the gas pedal, but he doesn't get far. The bizarre creature suddenly leaps onto the hood, extends a tentacle through the windshield, and latches onto Lenny's chest, draining the life out of him right then and there. The next day, a young man named Roth arrives at a cave in the same area, hiding 2 backpacks, unaware of the slimy trail nearby. Roth works for his aunt and uncle, Bert and Claire, who run a camping program for troubled teens. Bert believes Roth is too young to be a guide, but Claire, having fired the previous one to cut costs, insists he take the role. Roth dislikes the idea, arguing that he has no authority to discipline the teens. However, his other aunt, Summer, reassures him that at the very least, he'll set a good example for them. Soon, a helicopter arrives, carrying 5 teenagers, 3 boys and 2 girls. Trouble starts immediately when a boy named Trapper gets into a scuffle with Bert, who quickly pins him to the ground. Claire rushes in to break it up, but another boy, Luis, recognizes Bert as Crusher, a former MMA fighter whose career ended in tragedy when one of his opponents died in the ring. As Luis eagerly spreads the gossip, Claire speaks with Tom, the helicopter pilot. Tom warns that he won't be delivering supplies on Wednesday due to overdue payments. Claire assures him that this group's fees will cover their debts and begs for more time. Tom reluctantly agrees, handing her the mail before taking off. As the group prepares for their hike, Roth accidentally walks into a tent where a girl named Courtney is changing. He quickly apologizes, but she gets furious anyway. Outside, another girl, Em, complains about being forced to attend the camp. A boy named Wes agrees, even questioning if it's legal. Claire cuts them off, explaining that they're here at their parents' request. This isn't a summer camp. It's an educational experience for troubled youth. No electronic devices are allowed, and rule number 1, obey the adults without talking back. She also warns that anyone hiding illicit substances should hand them over now. With that settled, Claire instructs everyone to check their gear before setting off. As expected, Courtney, still bitter over the tent incident, starts mocking Roth, convinced he's watching her. As night falls, the group sets up camp. Unable to sleep, Luis sketches while listening to the radio. Suddenly, strange interference disrupts the signal, and the horses outside grow restless. Stepping outside, he sees the horses stampeding toward them. Shouting, Bert wakes everyone and forces them out of the tents before they get trampled. Courtney almost gets left behind, but Roth risks his own safety to pull her to safety. Once the danger passes, Trapper lashes out at the adults, furious about their near-death experience, while Wes threatens legal action. Courtney, however, is grateful to Roth and helps Claire gather what's left of their supplies. The satellite phone was destroyed in the chaos. Suddenly, a strange, frightening noise echoes in the distance, but it stops as quickly as it started. The next morning, the group resumes their hike. Later, they stumble upon the spot where Lenny was attacked. The mysterious object remains there, now completely hollow. No one can explain what it is, and everyone laughs when Wes jokingly suggests aliens. Roth finds Lenny's abandoned cell phone and compares its last photo with the empty shell in front of him, realizing that something recently emerged from it. Bert and Claire walk over to investigate Lenny's nearby pickup truck. As Bert opens the driver's door, Lenny's lifeless body slumps out. With their satellite phone destroyed, Bert insists they must turn back immediately and alert the authorities. But Claire panics. If they cancel the trip, they'll have to refund the families, which they can't afford. She then confesses about the lawsuit. In the end, they agree to move forward, keeping the discovery a secret from the group. The urgency to leave Lenny's body behind is so great that Claire completely ignores Roth when he tries to show her the photos of the strange egg. Night falls again, and the group sets up camp, this time under the threat of a storm. Wes struggles with a tent and vents his frustration on everyone, shouting that he wants to go home. Trapper quickly joins in protest, but Claire intervenes, saying it won't help to return with the same attitude as before. She points out that none of them are happy with their lives, which has an effect on most of the group. However, Courtney grumbles that it's easier for their parents to send them into the desert than to fix their own shortcomings. Roth keeps trying to show someone the pictures Lenny took, but something always interrupts him. This time, Trapper announces he's going to find a bush to relieve himself. Far away from the group, Trapper hears a twig snap and gets scared. Suddenly, Bert appears behind him with a shotgun, reminding him he can't be alone. Annoyed by the lack of privacy, Trapper curses at him and steps away until he hears a strange grunt. Looking back, he sees a grotesque creature rising from the darkness. Bert yells for him to run and fires multiple shots at the alien, drawing the others' attention. Roth rushes over, bumping into Trapper on the way, but Trapper is too dazed to explain what happened. Roth watches in horror as the alien consumes Bert, leaving the boy inconsolable. His screams alert the rest of the group, who rush over in shock. Claire desperately tries to save Bert, but it's too late. Terrified, but still unsure of what they're up against, the group follows Roth to a cave where he left supplies in case of emergencies. Inside, they find food, water, and a working radio, but no one responds to their calls. As they settle in, Wes touches something slimy. Only then do they realize the entire cave is covered in the same strange substance. Luis is startled when the radio starts buzzing again, despite being turned off. A beam of light reveals the massive creature. Roth whispers for them to stay still, but Trapper panics and bolts. With no other choice, the others follow. Wes trips on the rocks, and before he can get up, the alien attacks. His screams echo through the cave as the rest escape. The next day, they make their way back to the crash site. Roth finally shows the pictures, and Courtney realizes the egg in the photos looks like the slimy substance Wes touched. Roth also finds Lenny's car and pieces together everything that happened. Furious, he blames Claire for risking everyone's lives. The atmosphere turns sour, and they walk in silence back to camp. Roth checks the perimeter before the others approach, and they begin gathering their things. Claire informs them a helicopter will arrive in the morning. Shaken, she looks at a picture of Bert, but Roth remains unmoved, still too resentful. By now, Courtney's attitude toward Roth has completely changed. She even admits she feels safer around him. Suddenly, Ma warns that her phone is experiencing interference. The alien appears behind the largest tent, completely unfazed by Roth's gunfire. Roth barely makes it inside before slamming the door shut. However, Claire and Ma were too far behind and are forced to hide in the bathroom, a much weaker structure. Roth asks Courtney to unlock the door for them, but Trapper refuses. The two fight while Claire watches the alien through the wooden slats. The moment it moves away, she and Ma sprint for the cabin, but the door is locked. Hearing Ma's desperate pleas, Roth knocks Trapper out with a shotgun and unlocks the door, pulling Ma inside. Claire is right behind her, but the alien is faster. It slams the door into her, already attaching its tentacle to her chest. The others work together, but it's too late. With her dying breath, she asks Roth to get them out safely. Courtney blames Trapper for Claire's death, and Roth nearly shoots him, but stops himself. That night, while taking guard, Roth tries teaching Courtney how to use the gun, but she grows distressed. Instead, they end up kissing. The next morning, they hear the helicopter approaching. Luis checks the radio, no sign of the alien nearby. However, when the pilot, Tom, arrives and sees 5 armed teens with no adults, he refuses to let them board without an explanation. Shocked to hear Claire and Bert are dead, he insists on seeing their bodies. Tired of arguing, Roth pulls his gun and forces Tom to return to the helicopter. As they finally board, relief washes over them. Ma and Luis even joke around. But just after takeoff, the radio buzzes. Suddenly, the alien rips off a door and grabs Ma, attaching its suction cup to her. The helicopter spirals, out of control. Trapper jumps out the moment it's low enough. Roth tells the others to do the same but stays behind, desperately trying to save Ma. Realizing there's no saving her, Roth jumps just before impact. Tom is impaled by the alien's tail but still manages to crash the helicopter into a mountain, causing a massive explosion. Despite the blast, no one believes the alien is dead. Now stranded in the desert, without communication, transportation, or allies, they have no choice but to walk to Summer's house. Trapper continues to complain and act selfishly, but Roth refuses to let him divide the group. But Trapper crosses the line, striking Roth from behind. The two fight, rolling in the sand until Roth gains the upper hand. Just as he's about to go too far, Courtney stops him. At that moment, the alien emerges from the wreckage. Meanwhile, Summer is calmly driving her tractor when she spots the exhausted group arriving with Roth. Devastated by the news of Bert and Claire, she tells Roth the car keys are already in the ignition. Trapper sneaks away toward the truck. Summer calls the sheriff but struggles to hear due to interference. Roth takes the phone, confirming his worst fear. The alien is here. Only then does Courtney realize Trapper is missing. Outside, Trapper starts the truck just as Roth catches up, jumping onto the back and yelling warnings. Trapper punches Roth off, and he falls unconscious. Courtney rushes to wake him as the alien sprints toward the moving truck. The monster headbutts the vehicle, knocking it over before impaling Trapper with its tentacle. It then quietly enters the garage, where Courtney is hiding. Luis and Summer arrive armed but find no sign of Courtney or the alien. Roth regains consciousness, asking for Courtney. They tell him she's missing. The sheriff is on the way, but Roth refuses to wait. Summer helps him prepare for a fight, while Luis hands him a shovel for armor and 2 homemade bombs with 20-second fuses. Roth rushes to the cave and finds a horrifying sight. Courtney trapped in slime, a baby alien feeding off her. With the alien approaching, Roth has no choice. He presses the gun to the baby's head and pulls the trigger, killing it and freeing Courtney. The adult alien instantly senses this and rushes after them. Roth throws a bomb to slow it down, barely escaping. Back at the farm, Luis and Summer set an explosive trap. Roth lures the alien into an electrified wire structure, but the shock barely phases it. Then, Summer surprises everyone by plowing into the alien with her tractor, causing a massive explosion. The alien survives. In a last-ditch effort, Roth shoves his arm down its tentacle mouth with a final bomb. Seconds later, multiple police cars arrive. So that's it. Hope you enjoy the story. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more videos.